Welcome to the December 9th, Tuesday, City of Sydney Council meeting. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. The Open Meetings Act is over there on the west wall. Are there any comments by the public? Nope. Can I have approval of minutes from December 2nd, 2025? Do I have a
All
motion?
motion for the approval of the meeting minutes, December 2nd, 2025.
Second.
Kirkman,
Yes.
Coons,
Yes.
Sondergaard,
Yes.
Radcliffe,
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Now, on to the final proposal for Economic Development Corporation. Sarah.
Good evening, is that the proper? Hi, Council. Sarah Sinnott, E3 President. Okay, so I will go through just a couple things for Council here. You'll see in your packet, I had formally requested to just get an indication of vote on whether the council wanted to move forward or not with the proposal, and we had also included a draft of an interlocal agreement in there. When I sent all this documentation off, it was November 23rd, I believe, and the more and more we thought about it, it does not make sense for us to propose an interlocal agreement, basically the contract with the city and the county, without reviewing that with the city attorney and the county attorney. So we are not putting that up for vote today because really it's agreement between those government entities. So I believe those government entities should be involved when crafting that. We put a draft together, but I wouldn't recommend approving it until those attorneys can meet and we come to consensus there. So what we're asking for tonight is really, I'll go through everything that we've done the last couple of months and what that looks like. But we're looking for an indication for the council and interest in moving forward because there's several steps of what needs to happen next. And we're not going to waste the city and county attorney's time, waste Josh's time, Lori's time on doing this additional work unless the council is serious about pursuing this. And so that's really the intention of why we're here today. Does that make sense? Okay, so just a general timeline of everything that has happened. Roughly 5 months ago, the former economic development director had resigned, and that's when change in the tables happened a little bit. At that time, we were approached by council to make, because we have had conversations with the city several times about potentially forming an economic development corporation to bring all of these entities together. And so we were approached at that time to put a proposal together roughly 5 months ago. We had a draft ready at the beginning of August to share, and that's when there were several different people in role. Former city manager was in role. There was a lot of new people on council. Things were changing. And so we were working to get that scheduled as a meeting, but then we know the city went through a lot of change at that time. And then when Josh was put in as the interim city manager, he got the workshop scheduled for the Economic Development Corporation proposal. That was originally scheduled October 6th, and that's when we first brought this proposal to council. So we've been working on this since probably July, is what I would say, and have had something ready to go since August. It didn't become public until October, and that was when we brought you the first draft. That meeting was over 2.5 hours, if you can recall. A lot of feedback in that room. We've done a lot of different meetings, which I'll go through, but overall, I would say it's been excellent feedback by the community, and I don't think very little has been critical, but it's been more, have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? So you'll see today the proposal we put in front of you. It has the same bones are there to the policy, but there's been a lot of meat added to that based on feedback from the community. After that, Phil Sanders was here at that workshop. He asked us to come meet with the commissioners. We went to the commissioners and met with all of them on October 20th. And then they had recommended at that time, Phil initially wanted a joint meeting with the city council and the commissioners. After that meeting, he had also recommended a public forum with anyone in the community can come and voice their opinion, listen to it. When I was getting clarity from him after that last commissioner meeting on what the difference between the two meetings was, he said there wasn't really a difference, so we can move forward with just the public forum. And so that's what we did. Public forum we had on November 17th. Brandon and Brett were there on behalf of the city, and then Randy, thank you. All I could think of was Miller. Sorry, Randy. Randy Miller was there on behalf of the commissioners. And then we had, the community was at 5:30 at night, hopefully to be more open to people's schedules. There was maybe 15 people in the room, 2 of which did not have a vested interest in the project. So I would say turnout was poor, and feedback, we got some feedback, but I was expecting more turnout than what we had received. From there, we gathered all of the feedback that we had over the life of this proposal, and we came back with the final draft about a week later, and we proposed what you see today by right before Thanksgiving. So it has gone through several drafts, but we're very comfortable with where it is now, and that's what I want to go through with you today. The only thing I can go through the history of E3 again and how this formed if you want it. I also don't want to waste your time if you feel comfortable with that, so I'm happy to answer any questions. The biggest thing I want to clarify that we did not do at this first proposal was what an economic development corporation is. I think a lot of people were hesitant about this at first because they think it's some big company, private company out of Chicago coming in and dictating what we should be doing for economic development here. An economic development corporation is actually a nonprofit organization. This is not a for-profit company coming in, and it's created to promote economic growth in specific geographic areas by attracting new business, helping existing ones expand, and creating jobs. They typically focus on long-term development through activities like site development, securing funding for infrastructure, marketing the community, providing business assistance, and helping with workforce training and housing. So very, very similar to what the job description of the economic development director is, but instead you just have a group, a nonprofit group supporting those efforts. And actually it opens a lot of doors for grant funding that you cannot apply for as a municipality. For example, we just had a recent business that was interested in starting a rail yard. It was a 50-50 match offered grant through the state. But only an economic development corporation could apply for that. Not a municipality, not a private group, not a business, only an economic development corporation. So it actually opens the community up to more funding by having this. This is why so many in Nebraska use it. Any questions over any of that before I jump into the revised proposal?
What do you see as far anybody that grew up in Sydney don't want to see Sydney disappear? It isn't what am I trying to say?
Municipality?
No, not municipality. Anybody that wants to make this work is doing it because they want to see Sydney grow, right? What do you want to see happen to Sydney? I mean, you don't want to see the hill dry up. You don't want to see downtown dry up. What do you want to see Sydney look like?
Well, this is
Why are
also-
you driving it? What's your passion on why you want this, or why you think this is a good idea for you personally on there?
Good question. First of all, I'm not even guaranteed to be part of this group moving forward as part of this proposal. I would like to be. I'm super passionate about it, but I'm not guaranteed to be. And so for me, I was born and raised here. When I graduated high school, I said, I can't wait to get the heck out of here and never come back. I moved to Omaha for 10 years, and I loved Omaha and everything about it. It was actually my husband's job, who's a state trooper. They moved us anywhere in the state of Nebraska, and they moved us back to Sydney. And candidly, I cried the whole way back because I thought it was a death sentence. That's what you thought when you grew up here. And it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me and my family to come back to Sydney. And since then, there are certain projects I've been involved in that have taught us the beauty of our community. Sydney Park Project is an example of that. And we only have bigger and better dreams by developing and investing into our community. And I have firmly believe economic development is not one person or one position. It should be driven by the entire community. So this solution should really be hopefully driving that community development because it's a team and multiple people involved instead of one person. So in a nutshell, that's it at a high level. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, I'll get into the revised proposal where we're at. I will probably go through this in more detail just because I want to make sure we cover everything. So really the mission of the Economic Development Corporation, it's to strengthen Cheyenne County overall, expanding our access to quality jobs, supporting local businesses and entrepreneurs, implementing innovative strategies to enhance the county's long-term competitiveness, and it'll focus on building a resilient economy, attracting new opportunities, retaining existing businesses, and fostering sustainable growth for all residents. Within 5 years, the group is expected to contribute to measurable increases in, so when you ask, what are we going to do? What does good look like? We're expected to increase county population, number of employers, number of jobs, number of houses, and sales tax revenue, which will directly come back and hopefully benefit the city. We'll operate as an independent 501c3 nonprofit organization governed by a privately managed board of directors. E3, as we've been built today, will dissolve in its current capacity. That's because we're willing to let our current stake in the game go for the greater good of the area. And we'll transfer economic development responsibilities historically managed by the City of Sydney into the newly formed Economic Development Corporation. We will have 3 core positions. This proposal of what we're primarily asking for is help with the executive director. This is a new position. It's responsible for actively pursuing new businesses, developments within Cheyenne County. This is probably what's most applicable to the role of the economic development director. And then 2 positions we already have and are already funded, which is the entrepreneurial navigator, Alicia Julius, who is a kind of our one-stop shop for business owners if they need help with space, if they need help with funding, if they need help with resources or finding where to go. Alicia is their person. And then we also have our grant and technical writer, Melissa Norgard, who is already funded by us completely philanthropically. She has done a tremendous job of helping business owners write business plans, apply for grant funding for certain areas, and apply for funding for businesses as well. And so the biggest, if I've been asked, why do we even need an executive director? Why doesn't E3 just keep doing what we're doing, and why doesn't the city just eliminate economic development? Candidly, I'm passionate about this. I think eliminating economic development is pretty reckless. Bringing in this role, specifically what it would do, it's applying, it will be the leader of the group that provides vision for the overall group, but it's also, Melissa and Alicia are very reactive to what walks into the door. That's not a negative statement, it's just the nature of their job. We need someone proactive, recruiting new businesses to Sydney and Cheyenne County, going out there and hunting for new business to bring in. Why is this important? Because people die, because people move away. And if we don't have someone actively working to attract people constantly back to the area, the population is gonna continue to go down, businesses are gonna continue to suffer, and then our property tax will be spread against less people, increasing the cost for everyone and making it a worse place to live. So with this overall, it's really, really important that we keep this activity moving and moving forward. I want to be very transparent. I have no interest in applying for that role. I am not trying to fund a paycheck for myself. These 2 individuals, our staff has no interest in applying for that role. So this is not to pad our own pockets. This is truly for an external person to apply, and the best candidate will be hired. We have no interest in applying for that. Funding model and the commitments. The proposed model requires partner entities to commit to existing resources to the nonprofit with the long-term goal of achieving philanthropic sustainability within 5 years. So we're asking from this council, we know it can be a lot to ask for a 5-year contract, basically, but we are asking for more than a 1-year contract because some of these things take time to be able to show, to get in the pipeline, get things off the ground. I think we have business owners in the room that would tell you it takes time to get these contracts and business initiatives started. So we're asking for a 3-year agreement with performance-based metrics that you can review every year to make sure that we're living up to and hold us accountable, to make sure that we're doing what we said we would do. We have no problem with that. And then we'd also be willing to, if we need to, we want to have the overall goals, but if something, we have a new business to come to town that significantly changes the landscape and now we need more housing, we're willing to pivot based on what those goals are in that time and the needs of the community. Let's see, our goals, like I said before, would be tied to business formation, job creation, housing, and sales tax increases, and business retention of keeping what we currently have here as well. We do anticipate coming back to you for a 5-year time frame. So that first 3 years is over. You don't have to approve our funding for 3 years, but I will come back for another 2 years to ask for more money for that remaining 5 years, and I'll tell you why that is in a minute. Our commitments that we're asking for from the City of Sydney, this did change from what we originally showed you. We asked for $110,000 initially. We're now asking for $115,000. The reason for that is I had the information wrong on what the county was contributing. I thought they were contributing $25,000. They were only contributing $20,000. So our budget is still the same. So we are asking for that additional $115,000 because the budget is currently higher here. I would like to remind everyone the current budget is $202,000 for economic development currently this year. So this is almost half of what is proposed. I believe it's 56, 57%, something like that, of what the current budget is. I've heard incorrect statements that this is going to cause a huge tax increase, and actually this will cut it down significantly. We're asking Cheyenne County for their current commitment of what they're already doing of $20,000 annually allocated that would normally go to the city. So those are our 2 areas of public funding. E3, we have commitments to of what's already established to staff our 2 roles of $200,000 a year for 3 years, so $600,000 total, plus roughly $37,000 in existing funds we have raised for things such as our youth entrepreneurship competition. Basically, all of our funding would be contributed towards this group. That is 100% private funding that has come from private donations and grant funding. That also would, sorry, this is missing one thing. We also received a $97,000 grant from the USDA that would also be applied to this. So this would actually be closer to $700,000, over $700,000 that we're contributing from E3 to this work. WNCC has offered us office space at no cost for this for 5 years. It's an estimated value of $60,000 for that with rent and utilities and everything there. So our projected contributions over 5 years, the total public funding we're asking for would be $675,000, the city $575,000, the county $100,000, out of a projected $1,100,000 operating budget, assuming everything stays flat. So that would probably actually be higher. So significantly less than what the city and county are already contributing. And our private contributions are actually coming in much higher than the public contributions, of actually closer to $800,000 of what's coming from private contributions to get this off the ground. At the end of 5 years, our board of directors will lead a philanthropic campaign to raise $3.5 million to go into an endowment. If you're familiar with what an endowment is, that's everything goes in there, and basically you live off the interest year to year, so it never goes away. And then we don't have to go back to the taxpayers and ask for more money. So this would fund all of our roles into perpetuity after that is raised. It'll be raised through private donations, public grants, moving forward. As far as I'm aware, there is no model anywhere that has this. We've actually been criticized by some of our philanthropic partners for doing this because they believe the city and county should actually have an investment into this type of work because it directly benefits the city and county. But we understand the tax pressure that is on the local community, and so we've been adamant that this is the way we need to stick moving forward right now. So overall, our contribution is higher than what we are asking for. It will continue to be higher, and we're willing to do a whole heck of a lot of work to make this sustainable and off the taxpayer into the future. Governance. So we're suggesting that the current entities dissolve as they are. We'll report quarterly for both the city council and the county commissioners, but the governance will remain with the independent board of directors. I would also like to see an annual strategic planning meeting with all of the entities in one room as well to make sure we're all moving forward in the right direction. 2-year terms, 1 representative from the city of Sydney appointed by the city council, one representative from the Legacy E3 group, because we'll no longer exist, appointed by the Legacy E3 leadership, one representative from Cheyenne County, preferably a Cheyenne County business owner appointed by the county commissioners, one financial representative appointed through an application process, and one community business member at large, also appointed through an application process. We'll have the city E3 and county representatives will jointly review those applications once those are appointed, and then appoint the financial and at-large member, and then the board will elect a president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer every single year. Transparency and public accountability. So this is the large revision that we probably had our largest learning curve on. A lot of people throughout the state, when they're in economic development corporations, they don't technically align with the Public Meetings Act. But we heard that was a point of contention. And so we definitely want to adhere to that. And then Kendra did a very thorough review for us and actually found that those are concerned about the transparency of this group. Even after we're no longer taking taxpayer dollars, there is actually case law out there that states, and please correct me if I misstate this, that as long as the municipality or the government entity is contracting us to do the work of the municipality, the Public Meetings Act and those requirements to either do FOIA requests or anything like that would still always apply. And there's been case law to support that as well. Okay. Good. So there's no concerns about transparency or anything of this group moving forward because we will need to comply with all of that like any other entity. Any members of the public can request information from us at any time as long as it's not confidential client information, and it'll be consistent with the city laws that you need to follow. The Cheyenne County Chamber and Cheyenne County Tourism are not parties to this agreement and will remain their own independent entities. Any future city or county partnerships with those organizations will be solely the decision of the city council and the county commissioners. We have nothing to do with influencing that in any way. And the only other things that are applicable to the city and how you operate, LB 840, historically how that goes, it's really no changes to the process of what we were proposing now. Several people come to us already as the intake point. Josh already refers people to us to help them with their application and their business plan. And so rental assistance, for example, a lot of people need help with a business plan for that. We help them write that. And then that goes to the other entities to approve. LB 840, the process right now, we would just be the intake point for that. We would have no decision-making process in that. The Economic Development Advisory Committee, which is currently a city committee, will stay intact as it is. We'll pass that information to that committee, probably Josh, to coordinate that with that committee. They will make the decision on if that business gets funding or their recommendation, and it comes to council to formally approve or disapprove. So it still lies with that committee and council to make the recommendations and approve that funding. The only other one is the Historic Preservation Board. The only difference, it'll still operate as it is today. I believe historically, the Economic Development Director was supporting that, but I know Marshall has been stepping in there a lot now, so it'll just continue to operate as it currently is. So I just talked a lot. So that is the high-level proposal we have come to. What questions do you have over this?
Well, I got two ways, and you can pick which one you want to go first.
Okay,
I got short-term questions, long-term questions. Which
Perfect.
one do you want first?
The short makes sense, I think.
Short, yeah, okay, all right. So, essentially, today you're asking the council to essentially approve this proposal.
Correct.
And then obviously it's pending a contract development with the, city manager.
It would be pending a couple of steps that I actually asked for council's guidance on if you were to approve today. One is we would need to get an interlocal agreement. This would also be dependent on the commissioners. We are going to the commissioners on Monday. And so it would be dependent on them as well to get all in one room and come with an interlocal agreement to come back to council to approve. Second is all city ordinances need to be reviewed. For example, there is a city ordinance, I believe, out there that's economic development is going to be completed by an economic development director. So things like that would need to be revised. And finally, I need to know the process for what you would like to do to appoint someone to your designated position, because those are going to be things we're going to need to schedule out and make sure they happen accordingly. So those are the three things. Yes, sorry, I cut you off.
Okay. Well, we could just motion to move forward with an economic development corporation. We could just leave it pretty open like that.
Correct.
I mean, but that leaves more time. So that's the other part of the deal. So let's say we just do the initial, we say, okay, go. What does your timetable look like? What are the first things you got to get done, second things, third things? Go through the timeline with me.
The number, and I welcome feedback on this, and I would like someone to help us drive this, because this is, the council's leadership obviously here is a big deal. But first thing I would say is the interlocal agreement needs to be nailed out and come back to those appropriate entities to know what we're agreeing to before we move forward with anything, and those entities would need to vote on that. So the commissioners, E3, and the council would all need to come to agreement on that. Then I would say the next steps of what we would want to do is, for example, post for those positions if they're going to be for application to apply for the financial representative or the at-large member. We would like to post for those, so to give a couple weeks turnaround time. So those appointed, second step, I'm going to back up.
Yeah, there we go.
Second
Okay.
step,
Yeah.
council would need to appoint whoever they're going to appoint to that position. And then we're going to need to post for those at-large positions, because then the council representative, the commissioner representative, and the E3 representative would determine those at-large
Okay.
members.
That answered my other question.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so where is the formation of the actual 501(c)(3)? Where's that happen?
So that would be, I'm assuming, formed after, and I welcome your guidance on what makes sense. But I would assume we have the interlocal agreement contract signed, and then I want that original board of directors, whoever that is, in place, because that body should really determine what our bylaws are. We have a draft and everything else, but it's been formed completely by E3. And so that group would determine what our bylaws are, what that needs to look like. Sorry, my mom is calling me. Of what those bylaws need to be, and our formation documents, finalize all of those, and then work with an attorney to file those documents to be able to move those forward. That attorney would not be Kendra, it would be our own separate attorney, because those entrants, to not conflict her. But that would be what I recommend. Form the body, they form the bylaws and those documents, and then you file for the 501(c)(3).
Who's going to be posting the position?
The Economic Development Corporation would be, as its own entity.
So like the three members?
Correct.
Will have to be responsible for posting a position.
Correct. Well, the 5 members. We wouldn't want to hire that position without all 5
Okay, so you
input.
want the 3 first, you get the other 2 in with the original 3, you have the 5 goes forward and says,
Correct.
here's a job posting.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Okay, long-term questions. Okay, so you've got office space for the next 5 years. Is there a concern there as far as what you're going to do after 5 years in terms of space? I mean, we're assuming that there's going to be space. We don't know how much rent is, those kind of things.
I mean, WNCC has been a wonderful partner, and
Yeah.
I don't foresee that changing anytime soon. It's going to, you can't ever predict what's going to happen in 5 years.
Sure.
We've allowed cushion in that 3.5 million that with the interest and everything that would be coming in, that we plan to raise, that if we do have to pay rent at that time, we would be able to. But they've agreed to 5 years with us currently, but I don't foresee that being an issue moving forward. Greg Dart, the president of WNCC, has been excellent. Paula Abbott is currently on our leadership team with E3. They have an innovation and entrepreneurship center out there where you can sit free of charge as long as you present a business plan. So there's a lot of, it helps fulfill their mission as well. So our missions are very much aligned.
Okay. Okay, so after 5 years, you don't need taxpayer money. Fantastic. I
Hopefully,
like that
yes.
idea personally, right? But then, now, would there be any change, do you think, to the governance? I mean, I think your bylaws are gonna write in who the governing body is. I'm assuming they're gonna stay the same, nothing really changes there, but just wanna hear you say it.
Correct. We don't anticipate, for example, I don't know who the city is going to appoint, but if, right now, the city is always going to need to partner with the city manager. I mean, this group is always going to need to partner with whoever the city manager is because there is so much that intertwines with that. You can't have a business coming in and not talk about utilities, not talk about building permits, not talk about different things. And so there's always going to need a partnership there, and that's why it makes sense to continue that partnership moving forward. So there's always going to be someone involved from the city and county for that interest. We set it up with those roles, not based on the person, but based on what makes sense for the group overall to be represented by. Although I love Josh, but we're not basing it off of if Josh is in the role or someone else is in the role.
So what's an ideal thing you want tonight? Like, what works best for you as far as what you would like us to do?
Well, overall, I've only really gotten direct feedback from Jeremy. I haven't really heard much from everyone else, so I'm the type, no news is good news. So I would like some type of direction of, I would like to see, hey, yes, we're moving forward with an economic development corporation. We're not going to hire the economic development director. And we would like to see you come forward with an interlocal agreement to present back to us. That would be ideal direction of what we would see with this, just so we have direction to move and continue to move the ball forward.
Okay.
So I'd say,
I have one question. I was obviously at the city council meeting, but the one on 11/17 I did not go to.
Yep.
My memory's not very good. Was there anything, I don't remember anything raised in that public meeting here, and I'm asking you at the other one, was there anything raised, like any legitimate things that said why we would not want to do this?
I mean, I think most people's concerns is because they didn't understand it. Like, they didn't understand what an economic development corporation was. And once we addressed that, their concerns were greatly relieved. I think there's been some misinformation put out there that we had to say, no, we're not raising your taxes. No, we're not doing that. And once people had that, that was fine. I think the overall thing is, candidly, people are tired of things not working and not being involved in the process. And that's what we've heard a lot of. And so they're skeptical, candidly, that we're going to do anything differently. And I understand because there's been a lot of different changes and a lot of things going on. If anything, it's just really emboldened the mission that the community needs to be involved in this, because it's going to become 10 times stronger if everybody in the community is actually working to develop the community instead of just one person. And so, if anything, we've heard a lot of frustration, but I don't think it's towards this group. I think it's towards, what are we doing? What's our direction? What are we going to do in the future?
Okay, thank you.
I mean, is there any more questions?
I'm expecting things from you, so go ahead.
The only stuff that I've heard is like, we have a budget of, we pay the salary of $65,000, right, for a person to sit in that position. But that's also not what we pay. We also pay for advertising, we pay for hotels, we pay for travel, we pay for getting this person out there. You guys, I'm guessing, are gonna be taking on that role, and basically you're taking what the council and what our manager decides what that job is that the economic developer does, based in-house. You guys are gonna be taking care of that at a cheaper cost than what it's costing us, correct?
Correct.
But you'll also will have 3 people working that job, correct?
You get, in my opinion, somebody said it to me, you get more for less, in the simplest terms.
Right.
You get 3 people for the budgeted amount, I think it's 60% of your budget.
Yeah.
3 people and all their capabilities, and honestly, they're balanced. And candidly, I was asked in the commissioners' meeting, why do you think we've had such a turnover of economic development directors? And my opinion is, and I've seen it a lot in the last couple of months, it's a stinking hard job. And there's a lot of directions you can be pulled and a lot of different things of where you can go. I think it's critical that there is a team working on this because it is needed. That is a lot to ask one individual to do and to have many diverse skill sets. I honestly would love to see, if we hired an executive director position, somebody that's obviously skilled in economic development, but it also has to be a salesman on the community, or woman, salesman or woman on the community, to go in and recruit people to come here and why Sydney and Cheyenne County is the best.
Something else. So my only thing, I would like to see a proposal that worked with lawyers and to be written up of some guidelines of where we're looking like we're going. I know we might have to change that as far as where our plan for Sydney is and where we want to have you guys focus your drive, and make sure that is written in there. No matter who we have a contract with, having those things in place to make sure that they follow those and be held accountable to those is my biggest setback on it.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of stakeholders involved when you're going to try to figure out what direction the city wants to go, right? So I think in terms of economic development, as long as the corporation is the facilitator of, you know, the strategic planning, like that's the center point, right? And they pull all the different entities together and individuals and businesses to come to a collective agreement as far as where we want to go. Like, I wouldn't ask you to say, okay, you need to tell us exactly what the economy is going to look like here in Sydney in 5 years. Like,
Yeah.
what are the businesses and stuff like that? I think it's a collective thing. That's just my opinion, Jeremy.
Right, no, and that's where we're again, where we need.
Yeah.
And that can always change, but the first initial agreement had something in there, like the first 6 months, we need to look at this to hit the ground running, that we need to focus on these things with that.
It's really hard for me to do that without those group of individuals
Right,
established.
right.
So E3 can come in and we can form that, but that might not be aligned to what that, because we have bylaws and everything already drafted.
Right.
But without that group of individuals that's appointed, what if we appoint someone and they don't agree with that vision? It doesn't make sense from a timing perspective. And the reason we're asking for overall acceptance of the proposal of what we've laid out here, because correct me if I'm wrong, I believe a lot of these details need to be specified in the interlocal agreement. So that's why we're asking for acceptance, rough acceptance of the proposal, because the contract, the interlocal agreement needs to have this detail in it of who's contributing what money, what are we going to do, what does our performance metrics look like, those types of things, because we can't do that with just a generic direction.
Now, if we agreed for tonight, to take that next step, to look at that proposal, does that lock us into any contract with them if that contract comes back and we're like, you know what, this doesn't look right?
As long as it's not signed, I don't believe so.
If we just have them move forward with the interlocal agreement,
What are we moving forward with? We're not moving forward with the interlocal
Or-
agreement because that's not,
Right.
to work on it, or,
Is it just the acceptance of the proposal, like what
yeah.
she stated?
that's what I think we're
I
doing.
feel like this
We're
would,
just, we're moving forward with the acceptance of the Economic Development Corporation proposal.
But it does not guarantee the acceptance of the interlocal
We're
agreement.
not in a binding agreement with that.
right,
Does that make sense?
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll motion that we approve the Economic Development Corporation proposal and pursue an interlocal agreement between the City of Sydney. That would be our end of the deal. So, yeah.
You can't talk
Yeah.
on behalf of the commissioners?
Yeah.
That makes
I
sense.
can't do that. That's it. Yeah. So that's the motion.
I'll second that.
Coons,
Yes.
Vondergaard,
Yes.
Radcliffe,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Kirkman.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. One question, if I could ask, is there anyone from because we've been going the best that we can in the way that we can, but is there anyone from council that would like to be involved in these efforts with Kendra as we approach that on interest of or appoint Josh or someone in that way? Is there anyone you would like us to work directly with before we come back to council?
Yeah, I mean, I got time around Christmas. Scrooge, yeah. I got the day before, maybe, the day after.
Okay, then we're calling on you for your help, and Kendra will be reaching out to coordinate time. This is also contingent on what the commissioners say on Monday, but we'll address it then.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. The November 2025 claims. Is there a motion to approve?
I reviewed the claims and they were fine, so I will make a motion to approve them.
Okay, motion by Radcliffe,
Second, that motion to approve the claims.
Bonnegar,
yes.
Radcliffe,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Kirkman,
Yes.
Coons.
Yes.
November 2025 budget reports. Kagan.
Good evening, Council. City Finance Director Kegan Carwin. Going to jump into it here. Obviously, it was a little bit of a tough month. On our general fund revenue breakdown, property tax DMV was up 6.9 thousand from last year, or 24.5%. Property tax and motor vehicle were pretty much flat. This is all timing-based aspects. Sales occupation tax, that was down 22.3 thousand from last year, or a negative 10.7%. Pretty much all accounts were down in this area. Fees for service up 11.3K to last year, or a positive 74.8. Everything was mainly flat. The biggest tick was the building permits, was up right around 12,000. State, federal, county down 15.6K from last year, or negative 51.5%. This is basically just a grant reimbursement from transportation that actually dropped. I think it was December 4th. So we'll see that in next month's report on December. That drop in was 30.5K. Franchise admin fees down 1.6 from last year, or a negative 36.6%. This is just telephone fees again. Timing and changing in the world is how that works. And then on the other side, up 1.1K from last year, or 23.1%. Again, this is just interest. Kind of falls in line with the year-to-dates as well. Obviously, a lot of things are going to come. We're only in month 2 of the fiscal year. Obviously, it's concerned that we're kind of seeing a lot of downs this year as well, as we did last year. But again, we're kind of in that slower season for the general fund as far as revenue goes. We'll start to see that obviously tick up as, golf course becomes fully functioning, aquatic center becomes fully functioning again, and so on and so forth. So kind of breaking that down, revenues over expenditures of November, you're looking at general fund being a negative $339,000, street at $310,000 negative, electric negative $225,000, water up $20,000, sewer up $47,000, and landfill down $28,000. On a year-to-date level, you see a negative for general fund, negative $412,000, street negative $240,000, electric you see a negative $263,000, water you see a negative $32,000, sewer is up $48,000, and landfill down $13,000. When kind of going through the financial statement, I did compare that to where we're at expenditure-wise to our fiscal year. We are at about a 17% through our fiscal year. General fund came in at a total of 9.5% of expenses, of budgeted expenses. Street was 8.5, electric at 13.2, water at 13.5, sewer at 8.7, and landfill at 15% of a 17% fiscal year. So we're kind of falling right in line with how our fiscal year, how we were kind of planning it out and budgeting it. Obviously, you know, with the revenue side of things and still continuing to watch that and seeing these downs, we're obviously talking about how to try to reduce costs and minimize that and just be good stewards of finances and making sure that we're price matching products that we're buying as well as, you know, making sure it's appropriate to the operation. So it's really all I got. Any questions?
Sure. You got it, Kagan. All right, so you said the different numbers, 8.5%, 2.2%. Is that of the overall then?
Yeah, that would be.
That was the overall revenue?
Yeah, so
There's
so
like
when
a-
you look at like kind of a breakdown on in that financial statement.
So like if I'm thinking like a business is my P and L, if you will, is the end, you know?
Yeah, so it would just be your year-to-date actual over what you've budgeted. So for Aquatic Center, we've spent
So just the
7,620.
expenditures is what we're talking.
Yes, just
Just the
expenditures.
expenditure,
Yes,
okay,
just
got it.
expenditures. Yes.
Okay, got it. Sorry, I just want to clarify that.
Yep.
Okay. So it looks like trend-wise, like if this is, you know, we're pretty much like in total alignment with what every year has looked like all
Yes.
the way back to fiscal '23. I don't see any real surprises. I mean.
Yeah, nothing really, is jumping out. Obviously, next month we'll see that change because, well, I guess December
Yeah.
reimbursements for sales tax. We'll obviously see that because that's when we're going to see the hit on the sales tax that we talked about for those state economic development programs, where we'll reimburse that for Nebraska Advantage Act. So we'll take a pretty hard hit in December.
So on the surface, it might look rough, but really it's in alignment with what it's sort of done.
Yes. I would say historically
Okay.
we're in alignment with what we've done previously. Obviously there's cause for concern because, we obviously see downs. So it's just good stewards of the finance, like I said. We talked about this a lot last year about, down, and then we'd
Yeah.
have a good month, right? And as we got into those summer months, we really start to see that come back and obviously things change, and I think in all accounts last year, we finished positive in all those bottom lines except for the electric department with the
Yeah.
generation plant project. So which was a budgeted down. So we're trending where I would anticipate us to trend right now.
Okay. I don't expect you to answer this, but I'm going to ask the question anyways, in case you have this data. In terms of revenue, the electric department, are we tracking in alignment with our budget there, or is that higher, lower? Where are we at it in terms of revenue on electrical?
Yeah, I would say. Historically, we're tracking where we need to be on that. Obviously, things can change overnight with that. Obviously, the Cabela's building being under new ownership has kind of changed things in different aspects of, turning some lights on, getting water running in different faucets, toilets, so on and so forth. And just going through the purchase process has changed each one of those departments, I think, very minute, but in the grand scheme of things, I would say we're trending accordingly. Obviously, if somebody was to fill the Cabela's corporate side of things, obviously that's a different ballgame, right? Like you're going to see more electrical usage, more
Sure.
water usage, sewer's going to go up, so on and so forth. So
Sure.
I want to point out on something on the electrical with you there. According to our contract with me, and if I'm wrong here, correct me, but we pay per KW no matter if we use it or not. And at a set 17, right, we're getting charged that set amount for that.
Not currently, no, but that was some of the discussion that we had when we go to be an open market participant of kind of how that's gonna change on there. So I know Tom's been meeting with Tenaska in preparation for that transition in April to verify that. We haven't met with him, I don't think, since we did, when she came down here in person on that, to just get a better understanding. We think that that will drop as far as that fixed cost recovery, and that they wouldn't be able to charge us for that 7 megawatt demand, or that 17 megawatt demand without us actually utilizing it. But
Okay.
that's something that we don't know until April, because it's gonna
Okay.
be a new thing for us as far as
Okay.
going to be an open market participant rather than participating in the full schedule, is it Schedule M with Mean?
Yes.
They changed that. So that's,
So we're
that's
just
a lot of
paying,
unknowns for us right now, because those decisions weren't involved in those previous years.
so
and it's
we're
gonna
just
come to
paying for what we're
fruition.
using then? Nothing,
Correct.
nothing over that?
Yeah, yep. We're getting charged right now by kilowatt for what we're actually utilizing. Same as Sand Hill Energy and what we're utilizing for WAPA right now.
Okay.
But there was that discussion or that comment that was made during one of our meetings with me that that could potentially be that we pay that demand no matter what moving forward.
So that hasn't, that was, okay.
But we're not seeing it on any of those right now.
Okay.
It's just what we're utilizing, what we're being charged for.
Okay.
And that wouldn't take an effect until April.
Correct.
That open market participant.
If it
contract.
happens,
If I
right?
remember it, that's just a sliver of what we buy, right?
For,
This open market stuff that we said, we don't want to sign up for longer, commit longer
The
to you.
99-year.
So I thought it was 98% of what we buy was going to be exactly the same, and then 2% we had to go out and do something different with or something, on these peak times or.
Yeah.
I would have to look at that a little bit further to see if that's the case on there.
Is this,
I mean, if we're peaking at the 17 and we don't have to utilize any energy to continue to support us, then we just continue, from my understanding, paying that rate with me.
Like
And
we
any
always
sort of
have.
increases that they
Yeah,
have, we
yeah.
would have to follow suit with that. Then correct, if we need any more power, then we'd go out in the open market. Or if we had the surplus of power that's being generated from Mean, then Tenaska would help us on the open market as far as selling that capacity as well too. But that's things we're still trying to
Okay.
dig into for sure, absolutely.
and has Mean announced any sort of rate increase for next year yet, or?
No, they will go into those, I'd have to look at that timeline again. I want to say it's around January, February that they start the initial discussions for their rate setting phase. And then what, that final meeting's in March?
I believe so.
I think off the top of my head. So,
Okay.
and kind of,
Sorry, I didn't mean to open
No,
a can
no,
of
no,
worms.
kinda
I'm
back
like,
to your
I just want to
question.
know about the revenue.
I guess I should reiterate too, that when we look at, some of these proprietary functions that we operate, we are, based off of what Mother Nature can do. And I
Sure.
would say right now
Absolutely.
our winter has been more like a spring, right? Like we're very mild. We haven't seen the cold weather temperatures yet. Very little snow. So I
it's
guess
very
when I say
comparable.
that the revenue is tracking accordingly, I mean accordingly with what we're seeing.
Yeah, I would say
how-
it's very
how we're
comparable
utilizing
the last 2 years. It's like, it's
electricity.
almost identical the last 2 years so far,
Correct.
if you ask me. So, I
Yeah.
mean, as long as it's trending the same way that, again, I don't have in this.
And looking at the
documentation
financials, I
year-over-year.
mean, we're sitting about year to date prior versus year to date actual this year, you're sitting at about a negative ballpark 90,000. So we've lost $90,000 in revenue
Okay.
at this point. And like I said, a lot of this is coming down to, I would say the biggest hit, right? Just looking at the GLs, you're looking at residential being the biggest portion of that. And obviously I think that comes from the fact that you've had 50, 60 degree weather where your AC is not running and neither
Yep.
is your heat. So we're seeing that utility bill be a lot lower.
Yeah.
Over the
I was just
last
curious to know
couple
how it
months.
compared.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I would
where we're
say it's
trending.
tracking accordingly with what we have anticipated. So
Okay. That's all I wanted to know. So.
long way to get
messing
there,
with you,
right? Anything else?
No.
Perfect.
Is there a motion to approve the November 2025 budget report?
I'll motion to approve the whatever, the budgets. Thank you.
I'll motion, second that.
Man, we are like
Radcliffe,
so close.
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Kirkman,
Yes.
Coons,
Yes.
Funderburg.
Yes. Resolution 20251-202, master fee schedule. Kagan.
So with the master fee, or with the passing of the backyard chicken ordinance, obviously there was a fee associated with that permit. We've now added that into our fee schedule, and so it's just a revision specifically for that permit. So
That's the only change.
that is the only change.
Change.
What are we gonna do with all that chicken money?
Code enforcement.
Yeah. Yeah, like, help out there, yeah.
Is there a motion to approve resolution 20251-202?
I'll motion to approve resolution 20251-202.
Second.
Lee,
Yes.
Kirkman,
Yes.
Coons,
Yes.
Bonnegar,
Yes,
Redcliffe.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kagan.
thank you. Ordinance 1886 codes keeping livestock, including fowl.
All right. Good evening, council. Interim city manager Josh Hansen. Hopefully this is the last conversation tonight about chickens, but since we did pass that ordinance 1885, we did need to do a revision for section 618.4, specifically subsection C. The original language in there had stated that except as designated above, which was referencing the A, AR, and R1 zonings, the keeping of livestock, fowl included, is prohibited. So that obviously contradicts the new ordinance that was passed for 1885. So the revision is to replace that wording with in all zoning districts other than A, AR, and R1A, the keeping of livestock and fowl other than chickens is prohibited. So my recommendation, in order to not have an existing ordinance that contradicts a new ordinance as far as allowing backyard chickens, is that council approve the revision of that subsection, or that section 618.04 in ordinance 1886.
I'll motion that.
Second. Second.
Okay, we need to
We have to do
designate.
the whole
Designate-
deal.
Motion to
Motion to
The-
designate ordinance 1886.
So that's,
I thought that's what he said.
That's what I said.
oh, okay.
I was pretty sure that's what he said.
Kirkman,
Yes.
Coons,
Yes.
Bonnegar,
Yes.
Redcliffe,
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Clerk, could you read the title?
An ordinance to amend Part 6, General Offenses Code, Chapter 618, Animals, Section 61804, keeping livestock, including fowl, of the City of Sidney, Cheyenne County, Nebraska, to repeal such section as heretofore existing and to provide for the effective date of this ordinance.
Motion to waive the 3 readings.
I'll motion to waive the 3 readings.
Second.
Coons,
Yes.
Bonnegar,
Yes.
Redcliffe,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Kirkman.
Yes.
Motion to pass ordinance 1886.
So moved.
Second.
Redcliffe, or Bonnegar,
Yes.
Redcliffe,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Kirkman,
Yes.
Coons.
Yes.
Motion to publish ordinance 1886.
Read
Or, oops, sorry. Clerk, read the number.
1886.
Motion to publish ordinance 1886.
Motion to publish ordinance 1886.
I'll second it.
Redcliffe,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Kirkman,
Yes.
Coons,
Yes.
Bonnegar.
Yes. Okay. Purchase of patrol vehicles.
Right. So, as I mentioned last week, going out for bid, 2 consecutive weeks with one posting on each of those weeks during the week of November 17th and the week of November 24th. So we did receive bids on December 5th, 2025 for both police patrol pickup and code enforcement van. The bids were open and reviewed about 12:05 on December 5th by myself, Lori, the city clerk, and then Keegan Carwin and Kelly Maury. Competitive bids were advertised, as I mentioned, in Sun Telegraph, and ran for the week of November 17th and the 24th. So the following bids that we received were from Maddox Motor Company. For the police patrol vehicle, 1 bid was received for a used 2024 Ram Dodge, was 13,072 miles. priced at $44,987. This was the only bid we received for the patrol vehicle. For the code enforcement, also received by Maddox Motor Company, was for 2027 Ram ProMaster cargo van with 17 miles, priced at $40,700 after the $2,000 trade-in for that current code enforcement vehicle. And this was also the only bid received for the code enforcement vehicle. So both those bids that were received by Maddox Motor Company did meet the specifications as advertised in the paper, and staff have documented and reviewed those submissions. So it is my recommendation that City Council approve the purchase of the 2024 Ram Dodge to be used as a police patrol vehicle at the bid price for Maddox Motors of $44,987. And to approve the purchase of the 2025 Ram ProMaster cargo van at the bid price from Maddox Motors of $4,700. Again, these are the only bids that we did receive. Alternatives, council could choose to reject the bids and either rebid the vehicles or look at utilizing the state bid system.
Is there a motion?
Do we need to do them separately, or?
Can we do them together?
Do them together.
Do them together. Is there a motion for the fleet,
I'll motion for fleet vehicle and code enforcement vehicles.
I'll second it.
Lee,
Yes.
Kirkman,
Yes.
Coons,
Yes.
Sondergaard,
yes,
Radcliffe.
Yes.
creative district.
All right, so during the November 13th City Council meeting, Brandy Stone, an active member and lead of the Sydney Creative Art District, addressed City Council with a request to grant the Creative Art District Committee 2 weeks to explore alternative options for the administration or parent organization of the Sydney Creative Art District. She stated that the district could operate under either municipality or nonprofit organization. And within this packet, you will see the memoranda of understanding from the initial designation for the Creative Art District. And within that memo, with the intent of establishing the Creative Art District, the City of Sydney would oversee and bear performance of the fiscal responsibility for the certified Creative District itself. The 2024, which is also provided in the packet, State of Nebraska Creative Art District Program Overview and Guidelines that was last updated in March of 2024, state that to be eligible for certification as a creative district, applicants must meet several minimum requirements, such as only organizational partners are eligible to apply. At minimum, the partnership must include 3 organizations. One of those partners must be a representative from the agency of local government. Others can include cultural, nonprofit, or artistic collective, or local business or business association, or community development corporation. Another requirement is the majority of those partners must be located within the district. Evidence of partnership, such as a memorandum of understanding or letter of agreement between partnering entities, which includes a representative from an agency of local government. One organization must serve as the lead applicant for the purpose of completing the application for the designation of the Creative Art District, as well as be the main contact for the Nebraska Arts Council, and will assume fiscal responsibilities for any grants that are applied for. Strategic plan with a clearly defined mission, vision, and core beliefs for the district. So right now, as it stands, when the intent to develop a creative art district and to have that designation from the Nebraska Art Council, all of the terms that were laid out in that 2024 guidelines are currently being met under the city designation. So the MOU, which was prepared and signed by the former city manager, former Cheyenne County Board Chairman, and Cheyenne County Tourism Director in September of 2022, lists out those roles and responsibilities of each partner, with the local government entity being the City of Sydney acting as the district administrator, who completed the application process for that first $100,000 grant, received the certification from the Nebraska Arts Council, and then helped in proposing and developing the 10-year strategic plan after the 2023 designation, and which outlines that the city has majority of the goals of their responsibility within that committee itself. So having that discussion, I've had to do a lot of research that I wasn't very familiar with the original establishment. So 2022, a letter of intent was submitted by Kim Matthews, former Economic Development Director, for the interest of developing a recognized creative art district From there, the timeline goes with a memorandum of understanding with the intent of that established partnership between the City of Sydney, the Cheyenne County Chamber, and the Cheyenne County Community Tourism to oversee the implementation and development of the committee for the strategic plan of a 10-year strategy for Creative Art District development on there. So all of that work has been put into place. Now we're just wanting to look at opportunities of how we're structuring that committee so that we can start seeing some of these goals be accomplished that was outlined within that 10-year plan. So I do see value in the Creative Art District under the city, and particularly given that significant amount of work over the last couple of years that the city, county have put into making this designation on there. So my recommendation that if council does choose to retain the creative art districts within the city, I would recommend tasking city staff with drafting a resolution to further structure the committee in a manner similar to the Historic Preservation Board. This process would involve reaching out to existing members of the Sydney Creative Art District, including representations from the Chamber and Tourism, to develop a committee structure that continues to support the original strategic plan developed. Alternatives, since the 2-week period previously requested has now lapsed, council could choose to provide the committee with additional time to identify other entities that could assume responsibility of the Creative Art District.
Has Brandy reached out to you?
No, I have not heard anything since her presentation November 13th.
She's currently serving at the military site at this time. She works for me, and she's in Florida at this moment.
So I did just get a text from her, so she might be watching online, I don't know. She said Nebraska Arts Council is working on the letter and administrative duties description. So she's waiting for Nebraska Arts Council still.
Personally, I think we ought to keep it underneath the city. I mean, that's where it started. The $100,000 was given to the city of Sydney. We control that
Correct,
money.
we burden the
So-
physical responsibility of that.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, so if they take it, the $100,000 goes back, in my mind. So we have no burden of that, instead of giving it to another group.
Yeah, and I don't, I mean, I've had a couple emails out to Rachel Morgan with the Nebraska Art Council. The feedback that I've received, there's kind of gray areas as far as I haven't had any definitive answers on what happens to that grant that's currently sitting within our accounts on there, and if that can be transferred over. So again, legality-wise, I just want to make sure that we're not putting ourselves up to any situation when the history itself is signatures from city representation, and the intent was from the city with memorandum of understandings that showcases when the city initially did it, again, before my time, that they were following the protocol that is still in place with the Nebraska Arts Council.
Do you have a lot of support right now from city staff? Because it looks like we're recommending to have the city staff.
It would be the city staff. So there's a current committee that's there. It was brought to my attention that there was some concerns with the committee not following the Opens Meetings Act on there initially from some current committee members. So that's why I just started looking into it, because again, it's something that wasn't brought to my attention as far as I didn't know much about the or the Creative Art District. So that's why I started looking in information and kind of when this was originally formed on there. I had sent everybody that was on that committee, Brandy had provided me email addresses with my intent to look into this, because I did believe that it needed to fall within the Opens Meetings Act. And then if that was the case, that it should probably be structured through a resolution to give it a little bit more of a structure like the Historic Preservation Board. Any sort of public funding that's coming through the city, we have to be able to bring that forth to council just like anything else. Just like when we receive, when we get ready to talk about the CDBG. It's the same type of process. From my understanding, going out to that for that grant was approved by council. As far as utilizing that grant to purchase anything, for the meeting minutes that I've seen, I have not seen that brought to council on there. So that's why I started digging into it again for the legality side of things with the committee, just to make sure we're not putting ourselves in any sort of weird situation.
Okay. So like.
So the existing committee, I would like to still have there. It's
Sure.
just working together
Well, yeah,
to
so what I'm
identify a
saying is,
structure.
yeah, I guess you're recommending city staff with drafting a resolution to further structure the committee similar to this, so.
In working with the current committee.
Yeah, I guess I'm just wondering semantic, like, I don't even know what that looks like. What does that mean, like?
Yeah, correct. So it'd be something like the Historic Preservation Board. You identify board president, you identify secretary, a treasurer on that. You set your,
So is that just like
regulations and
you
standards.
then, or like who's?
No,
Okay.
it wouldn't necessarily be me. No, I mean, we're
Okay.
still the district administrator. So as far as any sort of funding and stuff like that, that'd be something we'd have to bring up to council for
Sure.
approval for before we allocate those, just like what we do with CDBG or anything that we do with facade enhancements or anything like that. So they would still have, we would just kind of be there as support on there, just like the
Okay.
Historic Preservation Board. We're there to help them out with any tasks that they need assistance with. You know,
Okay.
I'm not gonna take over anything that the Historic Preservation Board is doing, just there as an advisory or support on
Yeah,
what
sure.
we can help out through the
Okay.
city side.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
Anybody else? So do we make a motion to keep it under the city?
So
Or,
basically, would it be to retain the creative arts district within the city and then draft a resolution to further the?
And work with the
committee?
current committee members to draft a unified, yeah. Yep.
okay. A
She
motion?
said.
Yeah, what she said. A motion to keep it under the city and work with and draft it with the current committee.
So moved.
Second.
Kirkman,
Yes.
Coons,
Yes.
Bonnegar,
Yes.
Radcliffe,
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Downtown Revitalization Grant reimbursement.
All right, so Community Development Block Grant Downtown Revitalization Funds were awarded 2024. The owners of buildings must seek council approval to be reimbursed for the work they complete on the buildings to utilize funds. Fox Theater and Price Cream have submitted some of their project costs to the Panhandle Area Development District, who need council's written approval to proceed with payment. Previous action, council has approved Fox Theater and Price Cream in previous meetings. The city of Sydney was awarded that total of $435,000 in CDBG funds for downtown revitalization in 2024. The end date on this award is still May 14th of 2026. With a 75% reimbursement that the downtown revitalization covers, the payment to Fox Theater will be $27,821.83. And the payment to Price Cream will be $20,926.43. And then this will be reimbursed by the state. So I'd recommend that council approve the reimbursement payments for both Fox Theater in the amount of $27,821.83 and the Price Cream for $20,926.43.
I did like that new display that the theater
looks
has.
fantastic.
And I was driving down the road one day, and I was like, I don't know if they were displaying a movie or what was going on. What was going on there? It was like, I'm like, maybe I should just stop right here and just watch this for a while. Yeah, I'm like, I need some popcorn.
Yeah, it looks
Or
really
he's gonna
good.
cause more accidents. Is there a motion to approve the downtown revitalization? Because we can do them both at the same time, right? Grant for the Fox Theater and Price Cream.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Coons,
Yes.
Bonnegar,
Yes.
Radcliffe,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Kirkman.
Yes.
Consideration of revision of second council meeting in December.
All right. So the next regular scheduled city council meeting falls on Tuesday, December 23rd, which is the day before Christmas Eve. This memo is to seek council's preference on whether to proceed with that meeting as scheduled or to cancel this meeting given the two meetings held during the month of December.
I've known we've always canceled it before. Everything.
We usually cancel it, so.
Is there something pressing we need to?
Not as
Say-
right now, but I mean,
Yeah.
tomorrow could change.
Yeah, right. Like, am I the only guy that's available on this day? Like,
I'll be here all day.
no, we can, whatever. It's fine.
Whatever.
Is there a motion to cancel December 23rd council meeting?
So moved.
Need some help, Sam?
Second, if you don't want it.
We need a
He
second.
moved.
Oh, second.
So,
Okay.
go ahead, let him have it.
Sorry, Sam distracted me.
Bonnefield,
Yes.
Radcliffe,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Kirkman,
Yes.
Coons.
Yes,
Okay, hold on a second.
Yes.
Before, Kendra, can I introduce a motion without having it on an agenda? Dang it, because we got a problem.
His 3 months.
His 90 days is up on the 19th. And we got to keep that going, don't we? Because we just canceled this meeting, so when are we going to do this thing?
Looks like you're calling a special meeting.
on
What's
the
that?
20
You're gonna call a special meeting.
Okay.
call it for
With
the
that.
23rd.
At 5:30? Wouldn't that be great? Okay, fine. Okay,
You need to give notice so that if there are people in the community that would object, that they have, time to voice their concerns.
okay. Well, I
Okay.
appreciate your counsel. Go on, proceed.
That's all I have for that part.
Yeah. City manager report.
All right, just a couple quick report outs. One, want to say thank you to all the volunteers, both city and non-city employees for the holiday in Hickory on there. Want to really thank Runza for donating the chili, SRMC for doing cocoa, and then we had Peddler's Corner that hosted for marshmallow roast as well too. So just appreciate it. I think it went well and everyone was happy. For the library side of things, if you're still looking for some Christmas ideas, our Sydney Public Library is selling pre-wrapped mystery novel book sets, so you can stop in and talk to staff if you're looking for last-minute gifts. They also will be hosting a Grinchmas open house on December 18th all day, so make sure you stop in there for your Grinchmas. Outside of that, for water department, there are some emergency repairs taking place this week on the 1500 block of Forest Street. And then we're also planning in the next couple of days some sewer maintenance on Pine Street as well. In addition to that, just want to give everyone a heads up that they are going to be looking at installing a 8-inch pipe up there on Jennifer Lane. This is going to be going into that property that Les Schwab had purchased on there. They needed a bigger size pipe than what's currently there, so they're going to have to rip up, from my understanding, that 4-inch and replace that with an 8-inch. It's something to do with their future fire suppression system on there. So that will be closed for about 10 days. We don't know exactly when that's going to take place. They have a pre-construction meeting tomorrow morning. Is that correct? Tomorrow afternoon, 9:30. So we'll have a better idea of when that is going to take place. So Jennifer Lane will be closed on there. You'll still be able to access Scooter's Coffee through the 17J link, though, on there. So just want to give everyone an update on that, and that's all I have.
Now, do we need to set a date tonight, or do we
For your special meeting?
special meeting now?
We can, sure, that'd be great.
Okay, now, we have a problem with the Telegraph, though, because, I have to have the, meeting in by Monday. I mean,
Pull some
So-
strings.
Sent the paper in today.
Oh,
We
darn.
sent the paper in today.
yep,
So when would be, when's
so
our
it
next
has to
day?
be the 23rd.
It has,
I mean, because I have to give notice.
that's hilarious. You could move the meeting up from 5:30 if you wanted to.
I can make 6 o'clock work that night.
I'll be here. I can think of some other agenda items.
I guess.
I'm open, so it's,
Just, I mean, it's just.
I am doubtful, but go ahead, have fun.
Could we do it on a Monday?
Well, his 90 days is up on the 19th.
Okay.
So we need to do it. We probably should have done it tonight, but
Yeah, totally.
do it on the 23rd. So you can go back and undo your vote for consideration of your meeting on the 23rd.
I guess, might as
I
well.
think we're gonna have to.
Yeah.
Already ordered the flights, dude.
As long as we got 3, we're all right.
Okay, I'll be here. I'll cancel. Bought that insurance.
I guess undo the
To rescind?
Yeah, to
motion to rescind the 23rd.
Okay, motion to rescind, 23rd, cancellation.
Second?
Second.
Nobody wants a second on one.
Enthusiasm is out of it.
Ratcliffe,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Kirkman,
Yes.
Coons,
Yes.
Bonnegar.
Yes. Guess we'll see you guys on the 23rd now.
23rd at 5:30.
At 5:30.
Any other comments?
Yep. Lori?
Nothing.
Yeah, I knew that.
Kendra, do you got anything?
I was just asking Josh if he was going to bring the cookies for that night. He said yes.
Adam?
Brett needs to email me back the time
Oh, geez, okay,
on Monday.
got it.
8, 9, and 10 have been.
I just had 2 weeks of PTO. I've been working for 2 straight days. I'll try, okay.
Marshall?
So as was mentioned, Les Schwab is underway. They're doing overax operations right now. Tomorrow we do have the meeting at 9:30 with the city departments and the contractors up there, plumbing, heating, building, and so forth. So, and then they'll really get moving.
Okay. Kagan?
Tonight, you had 40 views, and 18 of them are still with us, so pretty nice.
Jeremy?
On the city manager search, we got that contract in with GPS, right? And we'll start talking with people on that. So,
Bert? Nothing. Brett?
I got a couple things. So Friday is teammates. So it's going to be for when does it actually the teammates fundraising around the basketball game? Does it start like way before the game? When does that actually start? I'm asking Sarah over there. So I had a card that was on my counter and I didn't bring it.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. Okay.
Chicken noodle soup, cinnamon rolls.
Okay.
It'll be a fundraiser by all teammates.
Yeah.
We're making cookies. Some people, what are you making? Yeah, you're killing everybody.
What's really exciting?
Gifts to go on a silent auction.
Yeah.
All proceeds go to.
Yeah, so it's a fantastic cause, and if you want to watch some basketball, great. Other than that, I have been bombarding Josh with the housing authority, so I appreciate Josh's help trying to just dig things up, and I am going to need more help, so I'm just kind of asking the community for any assistance with this. So we have a meeting coming up on the 16th, which is that is
Tuesday.
yeah, that's a Tuesday at noon. It's the same time as Historic Board Preservation. So anyways, if you can come in, it's Western Heritage. I'm just going to be making a presentation there, but we really need to start moving forward with some actual teeth to help out the Sioux Villa situation. So I've been working diligently on that. I know things at an extremely high level, like above 30,000 feet, probably from outer space, and I could use some help with what the grants are, what the different funding vehicles are to kind of piece this thing together. And then, we might be looking at trying to do consultants and whatnot to help us hold our hand through the whole process. So if you could, please come to the meeting. I would definitely appreciate your support. And I think, Josh, you're already committed, so I appreciate that. That's it.
Rob?
Nothing.
And I have nothing tonight either, so meeting adjourned at 6:53.
Motion.
Or motion.
I would make a motion that we adjourn.
Second. You want to stay?
Lee,
yes.
Kirkman,
Yes.
Coons.